All right, today you guys are in for a real treat because I got on. I would call him the king of reality TV. If you love Housewives, if you love Love and Hip Hop, you're gonna love today's episode. I hope you're ready for it. Let's dive in. You're listening to No Filter with Zack Peter, your go-to source for all the latest pop culture and reality TV tea, served fresh all week long. Now, let's dive in. He is the king of reality TV, bringing us the glory days of the Real Housewives of Atlanta and New Jersey, now killing it in the podcast game. Please welcome the one and only Mr. Carlos King. How you doing?
Hey, Zach, how are you?
I'm great. Reality with the king. I feel like I'm living reality with the king right now.
Yes, we are, honey. It's the reality of the world we live in. You and I are both immersed in reality television, so I'm really happy to be here.
Was reality TV something that you grew up watching? Because I know for me, I grew up on like Flavor of Love, Jerry Springer raised me.
Well, I'm maybe a little bit older than you, so Oprah raised me and a little bit of Ricky
Mm.
Lake. But no, I got something to
Mm.
show you really fast. So I love reality TV, all of those shows, Flavor of Love. I love New
Mm-hmm.
York. But it was this show that turned my life around.
The Hills?
Yes.
Stop.
Yes.
Wait, so are you a team Lauren or are you a team Heidi?
Oh, well, listen, I like to say yes to the mess. So I am a little bit team Heidi.
Spidey all the way.
Listen, iconic television, but no, Lauren Conrad is the original Kyle Richards. You know what I mean? Like the original face of a show that doesn't have to like yell and scream and be a villain to be a force multiplier. So Lauren Conrad is so legendary, iconic, and I love her.
As long as you didn't say you were a team Whitney, I'm good.
I know. I tried to get into the city. I was like, like praying, like, oh, please make this show be good. But
Okay, how does somebody like Whitney Port end up getting the spinoff over any of the other ladies? Like, as a reality TV producer, like, how does that even, like, my brain doesn't wrap around that.
listen, I think they wanted to obviously franchise and spin off,
Yeah.
the show just to keep the train moving. It was definitely Zach a money train back then, right? So the idea of going to New York City, I think they thought Whitney, listen, I'm pretty sure Whitney's Q rating, and the Q rating, guys, is what the networks and the executives look to as a rating of the personality, right? So I'm pretty sure her rating was high because she's so likable. But likability does not equate into iconic television. And I think they learned that the fast and hard way.
Is that why most of the cast of Beverly Hills is so boring on Bravo right now?
You are so messy, Zachary. Okay. Look, I think let's have a real conversation, Zach. I think the problem is this. Of all of the franchises, I think Beverly Hills, 90% of them care endlessly what the audience thinks about them. And I think they cater to social media, which you and I both know does not represent the
Nope.
real world. If like I always tell people, 2% of the world are on Twitter. So imagine those 2%, like how many of those actually watch Housewives? So you're catering to a very small group of people. And I think I strongly believe Beverly Hills is the only franchise where 90% of that cast caters to the audience.
Which is wild because, like you said, it's only 2% of who's actually watching the show. They just happen to be the loudest part, but it's not a reflection of, and they're just like diehard, like loyal fans to like a housewife. It's not really, they don't look at the show collectively as like a piece of art, like it should be appreciated.
No, it explains why certain women are on the show currently who should have been let go long time ago, Dorit Kemsley. So I just not sure why that show, listen, it's doing well,
Yeah.
right? It's doing well. So listen, something is right when it comes to that show. And I think what was right was Kyle's
Yeah.
storyline. Let's be clear. Kyle is the reason why that show got the highest ratings because we were all tuned in every episode to see what's happening. And then we learned watching Buying Beverly Hills on Netflix. So there you go.
Were you missing Rinna this past season?
I was. And listen, one thing about my podcast, Zach, I'm very honest. You know, I love all the girls. It's like the running joke of my career. Carlos loves all the girls. I do. That should not be a problem. But I was very hard on Rinna's last season. We should call herself LeBron James. But I've always loved Lisa Rinna. And one thing about my podcast, I'm always honest about who you are this current season. That's it. That's all I care about. Who are you this current season? And she had a very bad season, but that didn't mean she should not be asked to come back to the show. Now, granted, she quit. She showed the receipts. So, you know, that's that. But I miss her. I miss her because she gave 0 Fs. And I believe she's the only Beverly Hills housewife who truly, truly did not give 2 Fs what the audience thought about them.
Which I think we need a little bit more on these shows because I think right now so many of the cast members are hyper aware of what the fans are saying, of how they're coming across, of the way they want to come across. It's this influencer culture where we curate our entire image. But I agree with you. We need to, and this is why I love your podcast, is because we need to normalize liking all of the cast members, loving all of the cast members, but also being able to give some constructive criticism in response to what we're watching on the show. So just because I love them all doesn't mean I'm not going to occasionally have a critique for this one or that one.
Yeah. For example, Giselle Bryant is somebody who I love. I've met her before. She's such a good time, such a fun woman. Unfortunately, it doesn't translate on television.
Yeah.
So my critique of Giselle now it's been for the past 2 seasons. Has only been about the show, but in real life, I really do enjoy her and I like her. And the problem with some of these reality stars who you get a chance to meet personally, they do get upset when you are stating your opinion on our podcast about what they're showing us on the show. That's it.
Exactly.
It's weird to me.
I know. You would think they'd get used to it by now.
They're not.
Well, one can hope. Now, I want to talk about Atlanta. I want to talk about Jersey. I know you have your tour that's coming up. You have Teresa Giudice. You have Teddy Mellencamp. You have Tamar Braxton. Some great guests. So everyone needs to go and get tickets to that. It's for your podcast, Reality with the King, Mr. Carlos King. But I do want to take it back to the very beginning. Growing up, did you always want to be in TV? Did you always want to be in Hollywoodland?
Always knew that I wanted a career in television. Ever since I was 12 years old, I was watching a show called Teen Summit on BET, hosted by the beautiful Ananda Lewis, who then had a talk show for 1 season. But she was somebody who I saw and I said, I want to be her. And then I watched Oprah Winfrey and said, I want to be her. And then I went to college and said, I'm going to major in broadcast journalism and I'm going to be Barbara Walters. Until you study journalism in college, and then you slowly realize the news can be depressing, and I'm such a jovial person, and I don't have the voice of an anchor man. So I'm like, girl, this ain't gonna work out for me. But I loved entertainment, Zach, and it wasn't until I interned at The View, gag, with Barbara Walters, my idol, Meredith Vieira, fellow journalist, Star Jones Reynolds at the time, and Joy Behar. And I was like, oh, honey, this is what I'm talking about. A mixture of like celebrity gossip, lifestyle, and politics and news. So it's all the things that I love. So I knew that, okay, I may have found my way into figuring out the type of journalism that I love. And then when I got the call to do Atlanta Housewives, oh, honey, the reality bug hit me and I have been bit ever since.
So you were just a fan of reality TV, a fan of pop culture, really, and
Yes.
then falling into reality TV. So what was that call for Atlanta, and what was your headspace? Were you like, oh, this sounds like it's actually going to be hit? Because that was at the early stages of Housewives.
Yeah.
We had just had OC.
OC was the only one that was airing.
Yeah.
So this is back in 2008. I'm working at BET. I'm a production assistant, doing my thing. I'm sorry. Can you hear my dog, Zach?
He wants to
Can you hear my
chime in.
dog?
Yeah. He's chiming in.
I know. I'm like, what are you doing? Come here. Sorry, DoorDash is here. Okay, so it's 2008, and I'm working at BET. I'm in New York City. I'm in my 20s, and I'm like, I'm the real Whitney Port. Like the show should be called Carlos in the City, honey. And I got a call because, again, I would tell everyone at work, Zach, like, you got to watch The Hills. So everybody at my job knew that I love The Hills, and we would watch it like at work. So a friend of mine who was working with me at the time, she got the call to do this reality show in Atlanta called Ladies of Hot Atlanta, right? And she was on the production management side, which handles like budgets and money and logistics. And she said, come here. You love reality. We're all watching The Hills because of you. Would you ever do a reality show as a producer? I'm like, yeah. Like, where is it? She said, Atlanta. I'm like, oh, Lord. And I'm like, what is the show? She said, I don't know. It's called Ladies of Hot Atlanta. It could be like the Real Housewives. And I'm like, wait, like that OC show? She said, yeah, except the women are Black. And I said, oh, wait a second. This could be groundbreaking, iconic, and legendary. It was not, unfortunately, I'm just being honest with you, it wasn't an immediate yes because I'm in New York. I'm making money. New York is New York, especially back in the 2000s. So I said, you know what? I will regret this forever if I did not take the chance. It's only 3 months of work, right? I quit my full-time job, moved to Atlanta, and said, let me just figure this out. The first day of work, I was introduced to Nene Leakes as her producer, and the rest is history.
Do you still keep in touch with Nene?
Yeah, I spoke to her today. Yes, no, she and I are really, really good friends. She's like a sister to me. I love her dearly. I literally spoke to her today. Like she's my girl. I love her.
Do you think she has a chance of coming back on Bravo anytime soon?
Look, anything is possible. I never thought I see the day where certain people came back. Hi, Denise Richards. you know, um, listen, I'm a firm believer that once people have a conversation, face to face, no cameras, no, like just two people. I'm a believer that anything is possible. And listen, I think thinking about the bigger picture, I just think it'll work for all parties involved if something can be figured out. But at the end of the day, I can say that she's happy where she is right now, and she's doing very well.
Good for her. Listen, as long as there's time for the dust to settle, then I think people will be willing to come to the table and kind of hear each other out. And as long as everybody comes with an open ear and an open heart, other things can open up too.
Yeah, I'm hopeful.
Well, we'll see. Because she really was iconic, and a testament to you. You were her producer on that show.
Yeah, no, she and I, it's funny, I always say, like, I'm Matthew Knowles, she's Beyonce. We were a good pair, and a lot of it had to do with the fact that she and I relate so much just on life shit, and our personalities are the same, and we were both new and we had this reliance on each other. So the fact that she and I both grew in that world, of course, separately, her, being this massive Bravo celebrity and celebrity outside of the network, and just me growing in my producing skills, it's the reason why listen, till this day, I'm proud of what she and I were able to accomplish together.
And you guys really did kind of come up and support each other on your way up, unlike other housewives, cough, cough, Bethany Frankel, who think they came up with Andy Cohen. Sips tea.
There goes my Zachary.
So you went from being a producer, now you're more of on-camera talent, right? You had your talk show, you have this new podcast, you're going on tour with this podcast. What made you make that jump from, first of all, from being behind the camera to in front of the camera, and also from TV to podcast?
Yeah, so as I was producing these reality shows, it's funny, I would always get asked, why aren't you in front of the camera? And I'm like, oh, honey, I'm producing. So mind you, as a 12-year-old, I did see my career being in front of the camera. Newsflash, 85% of producers had dreams of being in front of the camera. Like that's just so you know. You sort of like use the internship to get inside and hope that you get discovered, right? Like Brooke Shields. So all of us had that, right? But I was so immersed in my skill set as a producer that honestly, and this is not a good thing to say, I'm just being honest with you. I unfortunately put my dreams on the back burner because I was so like into this world of producing, and I'm good at it. And I thought like, this is it. And I would have been okay with it. But it wasn't until I created this show called Hollywood Divas for TV One. And prior to that, I would do little stuff here and there that publicists would ask me, like, can you speak on this topic for like CNN and just stuff like that? I'm like, sure, fine. But it wasn't until I was asked to host the reunions for this show called Hollywood Divas on TV One with Countess Vaughn, Golden Brooks, Paula J. Parker, Lisa Wu from Atlanta Housewives. I got on that show. And that's when I said, oh, okay. This hidden dream that I kind of like suppressed, this is what I love to do in addition to producing. And I thought to myself, like, I want to do it all. And that was the first time I was able to control a hosting gig of that magnitude. And I became noticed, and then more opportunities opened up. And for years, I was asked to do a podcast. Friends here and there would say, do a podcast with me. And I'm like, no, the timing isn't right. I want to like really cultivate my production company. I left Atlanta Housewives. I moved to LA. I really want to focus on that. And then in 2021, I was approached by another company to do a podcast. And at that time, I said, you know what? The timing is right, because I felt like there needed to be a podcast that came from a producer who's established and current that can really speak not only on the iconic moments that you talked about, Zach, with me and Nene or me and Teresa on Jersey, but just to give a different point of view of reality television, how we look at stuff. And my first interview was with Ebony K. Williams, and baby, that shit shot to #1. And I said, oh, you guys really were waiting on this. And it's been 2 years, and I just love it.
I mean, and you're killing it on the charts every week.
Thank you, Zach.
Which I'm excited. People need to go check out your tour if they are in the area. We have Teresa Giudice that's coming up. We have Teddy Mellencamp. You have Tamar Braxton. You're coming to Jersey City, Irvine, Atlanta. Are you excited?
Yes.
You just sold out. Wait, you just sold out a show in January, right?
Sold out my first show in January with Melody Rogers from my show Love and Marriage Huntsville. So yeah, it was a true testament that the audience really wants to be a part of this podcast in a very, fun way. But my podcast tour, we have a live DJ, we got food, drinks. It's sort of like a fun slumber party. It's ladies' night. Bring your husbands though, it's fine. But it's a party. It's a bona fide party.
Well, guys, if you're near Jersey City, Atlanta, Irvine, DC, be sure to get your tickets. Where can they get their tickets, Carlos?
Oh, please go on my website, Kingdom Reign, REIGNENT.com. That's kingdomreignt.com. And like Zach said, Jersey, DC, Irvine, or Atlanta. Tickets are on sale as we speak.
I love it. Which Bravo shows, or just which reality shows right now, are kind of at the top of your list?
Oh, good question.
I'm loving Beverly Hills and Vanderpump. Well, Beverly Hills just ended, but I guess Buying Beverly Hills is also. I feel like that's one. Buying Beverly Hills is now the extension of Real Housewives that I'm watching.
I was gonna say I just finished Buying Beverly Hills on Saturday. Love it. Can we talk about the scene with Kyle and her Hermes bags with the bicycle?
Oh yeah.
Kyle, if I could not love you more, sister, I just love it.
Just rolling up to the house with a bunch of Hermes bags with gifts.
And like hiding them from Mauricio. I'm like, you both make a lot of money. Like, I think that's so cute that she still feels the need to like hide the bags from her husband. I thought that was so cute. But no, I'm loving Buying Beverly Hills. I'm loving Summer House, Martha's Vineyard. And my ultimate favorite, Married to Medicine, just wrapped. So that was like my go-to. I really, I just loved it so much. But I'm looking forward to seeing the upcoming season of OC. They have such.
Jesus Jugs is back. You're ready for it. You want the mess.
Honey, and I'm signed up for it. Salute, baby. I can't wait to see Alexis Molino. And Tama Judge came and saved that show with such a fabulous job at doing so. So I'm looking forward to OC. I'm looking forward to Atlanta now that Portia is back. So yeah, we got some good things cooking.
I feel like, are you watching The Valley at all?
No, it's funny. I need to watch it. Is it good? I heard it's good, by the way.
It's actually good. I mean, I know the promos were a little campy at first, and so people were like, is this going to be boring? But it's actually, I mean, listen, you put Jax Taylor and Kristen Doty on TV, and they're going to bring you all the mess you need.
Yes. I need to watch that, and I need to catch up on Vanderpump. I thought it had a slow start.
It did.
It was a slow start, but it's starting to heat up because, honey, that I think it's like 2 episodes ago rather, when Lala and Katie were getting into it. I'm like, yes, honey, get into it, girls. I loved it. Team Lala, by the way, girls.
All the way. Lala all the way with her new $3.1 million house. Get it, Lala.
In the Valley, no less. Can we say spinoff?
I'm ready. I'm ready for that spinoff. No, I think The Valley is great. Jax and Kristen always bring the mess. Which, speaking of mess, are you a proponent of bringing Tori Spelling onto Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? But before that, I just wanted to remind you, not that you need me to remind you because you already know this, but your pet is one of a kind. And so is their journey. While every playful moment is a memory in the making, sometimes our cats and dogs are a little too good at getting into trouble. Boy, do I know it. I got 2 beautiful big boys, and they love to get into trouble because they're still only a year old. But that's why I'm telling you guys you should check out ASPCA Pet Health Insurance. The ASPCA Pet Health Insurance Program offers customizable accident and illness plans, making it easier for pet parents like you and me to help your pets get the care that they may need. They allow you to customize your plan, helping ensure that your pet's plan is as unique as they are. Because vet bills can really add up, especially when you're least expecting it. It's simple. Use their app to submit a claim, and you'll receive reimbursement for eligible vet bills directly into your bank account. To explore coverage, visit aspcapetinsurance.com/nofilter. That's aspcapetinsurance.com/nofilter. Again, that's ASPCA petinsurance.com/no-filter. This is a paid advertisement. Insurance is underwritten by either Independence American Insurance Company or United States Fire Insurance Company and produced by PTZ Insurance Agency Limited. The ASPCA is not an insurer and is not engaged in the business of insurance.
You want to hear a funny story?
She's
Zack?
enthralled in mess. Please tell me.
I kind of went down the rabbit hole yesterday on Tori Spelling, and I'm trying to remember, like, what did I did something? Wait. She filed for divorce, right?
Yep.
Okay. So, that's what it was. I'm like, why did I go down the rabbit hole of Tori Spelling? So, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's divorcing Dean. Is it Dean? Dean, thank you. And my go-to, Zack, was, did Candy Spelling ever give her daughter the money? So I went down this rabbit hole of like the Candy and Tori timeline. I'm happy to report they're in a good space, a good place right now. And Candy said that she pays for the house and the meals, but no past due bills.
Which we know there's a stack of those.
Yes. So I would love to see Tori Spelling on Beverly Hills. I think, listen, am I the minority in the situation? I think it'd be so iconic.
Well, I think, yes. One, we'll get into her podcast in a second, but I think it would be iconic for the sense that we've seen different archetypes, right? We've seen different types of housewives. We've seen the entrepreneur housewife, we've seen the stay-at-home housewife, but we haven't really seen the housewife that's Tori Spelling that has rich parents, and she didn't marry into her money. She kind of inherited her money, and she's kind of still living off of her rich mom.
I'm sold. Call me the agency, honey. I'm sold. That's the kind of stuff I want to see. But you're so right. Like, it's sort of like the riches to rags story. You know what I mean? Because one of the people on Twitter said, damn, Dean held out for 18 years trying to get that money. And Candy said, bitch, not on my watch.
Nope.
So I want to see, like, I want to go to like the Spelling estate. You know, I want to
brunch with mama.
Yes. I want to see Candy open up the vault and hand Tori her allowance for the month. I want to see the kids. I think Candy Spelling will give us what Kathy Hilton gave us. Can you imagine Candy and Kathy having dinner?
Have Kyle and Tori have a mom brunch. Bring in Kathy. Bring in Candy. Gold.
That's what I need.
Let's say
and if
Beverly
you have
Hills.
to sacrifice somebody, get rid of Crystal.
Please. We're ready. I think, did you see Tori's new podcast? She just launched a podcast. Episode 1 just Carlos. Episode 1.
When? I went down the rabbit hole
last night.
I didn't see this.
Last night. Well, because she's not promoting it very well. Okay, the first few minutes of the podcast are her reacting. She's like, oh my God, the divorce is finalized. I have to call Dean. So she picks up her phone. She's recording. She picks up her phone to call Dean to notify him live on the podcast that she just filed for divorce. And you hear him, and she's like, remember, I had to be the one to file first because of, whatever legal issue. And she's like, of course I had to be the one to file first because you went and told the press about us. You've done what you've done, and now I get to be the first one to file for divorce. It is so messy, and that's what we need on Beverly Hills. We need mess. We need unhinged, just chaos.
I am writing myself a note. I know what I'm doing tonight, honey. Okay, wait, Tori Spelling podcast. But no, listen, this is the thing. And unpopular opinion, but it is unfiltered, honey. Wink, wink. So look, this is going to sound so crazy, but I'm being honest. When it comes to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, let's just stick to that show. What's missing is old money.
Yep.
Right? Like wealth. Like when that show first came on, do you remember the day you watched season 1, episode 1 of Beverly Hills, and you saw Kelsey Grammer and Camille and the 4 nannies for the 2 kids, and just like the palatial estate of like Adrienne Malou, walking across the street to Lisa Vanderpump's estate, and then on the first episode, they're in a private plane going to see the Sacramento Kings. Like we're missing that. I don't want to see, I'm not going to name names, but I don't care to see people talk about the money or wear it on their like bodies to show that they have it. Like Adrian Malouf would wear a muumuu and some like flip-flops, but you knew sis had the coins. So I want to see Tori Spelling with Candy and just talk about, because you're right, we've never seen this before, to really see a daughter grow up being daddy's little girl to the iconic storyteller that is Aaron Spelling, rest in peace. To know that her mother had this tumultuous relationship to where she was on her own for so long. And Candy said, Zack, that, which is so sad to read this, but Candy allegedly said that what killed Aaron was the fact that Tori wasn't talking to him. Like, that's deeply rooted. We want to see that. I don't care about Crystal's brother and the ex-girlfriend. I'm not invested.
No.
It has nothing to do with the town of the zip code 90210. I don't care.
Do you like Sutton buying horses?
No! This is the thing. And I know people say, Carlos always gives Sutton and Garcelle a hard time. I, for one, don't buy the friendship. It's my opinion. Like,
no, it's all for Twitter.
God forbid I have an opinion. It's an alliance.
Yeah.
That's that. Sutton will never be friends with Garcelle in real life. It's because Sutton, and I'm not saying anything is wrong with this. Sutton cares about being invited to the Elton John party. Like, Diane is somebody that Sutton would die to be friends with, right? Because of all the wealth she has.
Yeah.
So that's what we want to see. And I think with Sutton, who has the $300,000 alimony a month, which, by the way, you better work, honey. But we don't. Sutton isn't providing that life to us, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I don't see the $300,000 a month. I don't see it.
Well, that's also my critique of Crystal. She's married to Rob Minkoff, and she hosts taco night, and I could host a better taco night. I'm like, come on.
With Kathy Hilton's tequila, baby. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, at least some, like, come on. And Kathy's actually friends with Crystal, and Crystal wasn't even pimping out the Casa Azul.
I want to see the wealth brought back to Beverly Hills. I know a lot of other of the shows get shit for not having the wealth, and I get it to a degree, but I will always say that should be the standard for Beverly Hills, only because episode 1, season 1, everybody on that show was super duper wealthy.
Yep. Do you feel like the reason we're not getting many of those uber wealthy women is because people are afraid of like an Erica Jane scandal? They're afraid of some sort of Twitter scandal where it's like you can't really be yourself or else they'll pick apart everything you do. And like, I feel like Dorit was a great reality star when she first came on to Beverly Hills, but then she took such a hard beating. And once the fans started to lighten up on her, she became super vanilla because she just didn't want to take that beating again.
Honey, are you my diary? I mean, yes, Zack, that's exactly what it is. Look, I think I'm going to say it, unpopular opinion, but this is why you guys love Zack and I. By no means am I like this big fan of is it Diana Jenkins?
Diana Jenkins.
Diana Jenkins. By no means am I like a huge fan of Diana Jenkins,
Same.
right? But I'm also not a fan of Diana Jenkins either,
Same.
right?
And her husband's cute.
Beyond. Sing me a lullaby, honey. So I thought what she was bringing to the show was this wealth.
Yeah.
I mean, the Elton John appearance, the parties, the flying her own glam to the lavish vacations 2 days early to get her room ready. That's the type of listen.
Mm-hmm.
She literally does not have to do anything else but show me that, and I'm here for it. But I will say this, her getting ridiculed off social media with all the money she has, she said, I will not leave Hawaii to fly to LA to sit next to you ladies to read me for filth. That ain't happening because I don't have to.
Yeah.
I don't need this, right? So, but what that did, Zach, was this. The other women on Diana's level, they said, see what they did to her? I don't want that done to me. And I think that's a reason why a lot of the wealthy women refused to join the show, because they saw how social media reacted to Diana having the issues with Garcelle and
Yeah.
Sutton and everyone else. So it's going to be hard to cast that show. And lastly, Dorit, you're right. Dorit was, when I say to you, Zach,
Same.
I used to love me some Dorit.
Dorit
When
used to
she,
be ruthless and toothless, and I loved it.
baby, work. When she told Lisa Rinna, if I could smell your breath, you're too close to me. Back off. And I'm like, who is this little spicy little 5'3" woman? Like, she's everything to me. But again, social media handed her ass back to her, and she has not been the same since.
No, she hasn't. And now her gimmick, her shtick is the fashion, but it's also it's a little. I like Dorit, but it's a little tacky with all the Chanel and the Louis, and it's so flashy that it doesn't scream wealth.
No, it screamed rent a center.
Yeah.
You know, like, she's
The
a
real.
sample size girl. So I don't believe that any of those clothes are in her closet. And mind you, that's fine. But honey, Diana Jenkins had the store brought to her, honey, on the racks.
Mm-hmm. And listen,
Even Erica Jane was like, damn, bitch.
that's why
like I used to have.
that's why Erica and Rin are keeping Diana around. They're staying friends with her. Sutton wishes.
Yes.
Were you sad to see Anne Marie go?
You know what's so funny? I was, because listen, in the beginning, I thought like, oh, girl, you are so unlikable. Like, Lord Jesus. But then I always said, because she came in the middle of the season, she was never given a chance.
Yeah.
Because when you bring on a housewife, a full-time cast member in the middle of the season, more than likely, that means nothing was happening.
Yep.
So she had all this pressure on her shoulders to bring something to the mix. And I felt like, because we weren't able to see her home life, and to hear that we weren't able to see the scenes where she discovered her mom passing away, or dealing with, her mom's health up until that point, I felt like she should have been given a second season, only to give us something,
Yeah.
Yeah, I was disappointed.
Are you looking forward to the new season of Jersey?
Yes.
Okay.
As long as we don't, it seems like we're not getting it. I'm not here for Teresa versus Melissa. I mean, I've been down that road so many years just watching the show. I'm hoping we can see something new and interesting. Teresa is the queen of Jersey. I'm just hoping we get to see some new dynamics. So I'm looking forward to it for those reasons. And I love me some Jennifer Aiden. I think she's great. I think Margaret is great for the show.
Agreed.
Yeah, I love the cast.
Jennifer and Margaret will never be friends, but I love them, especially as just two bookends with the drama, and they just always have some sort of mess that they bring.
Great casting.
What do you think about reality TV moving forward? Do you feel like Housewives is maybe coming to an end soon? Do you feel like, where do we go from here? Because like we were just talking about, like there is a lot more of this like self-censoring and people being more mindful of how they're coming across or wanting to avoid any, heat from social media. Do you feel like the game is going to change because of social media now?
I think it will, as long as we allow it, right? In terms of like keeping these women on the show who aren't giving a slice of their real life. I think that's very dangerous. What I loved about Monica Garcia, let's talk about it, was the fact that she was self-deprecating.
Yeah.
We were able to see issues between her and her mom that was missing from Salt Lake City. I was never a huge watcher of Salt Lake City, honestly. Season 2 was everything. So I watched all the episodes, season 2. But then after Jen left, I was like, ah. And then my friends and the raindrops, who I call my listeners, they said, no, you got to watch Salt Lake City. And again, going back to what we talked about earlier in the sense of, are we missing wealth on these shows? Because even Jeff Lewis made a comment about, he said Monica was poor and we don't want poor people on the show. And listen, he's a jokester, but I get what he was saying.
Yeah.
But I think when it comes to Monica Garcia, you can't mistake that she brought life into that show.
Yeah.
And what's missing from the franchise and reality TV is real people who want to give you their real life without judgment. I don't care about the Chanel bags in that case. I don't care about you being married or not. I care about real story, and I want to see more Monica Garcias make the cut on these shows. Because, listen, I think it's so funny that a woman who was a part of a blog ended up on the show.
Right.
And I think it goes to show you just where the world is. And in order for anything to continue, Zack, you have to follow where the world is.
Yeah.
And to me, she represented the current state of the world, which is a lot of these housewives, not on the show, but like in real life housewives, they have a lot of time on their hands when the kids are at school. And instead of a book club, they're part of a blog club.
Yeah. Well, I think Monica was an interesting example because to me, I would say she was like New York season 1 with Bethany, right? Bethany didn't have the money, but she had the grit and she wanted to be in with these women, which is why she was rubbing elbows with the Ramona or Jill Zarin, who were a bit more socialite, who liked to be at all the parties, who wanted to make their name in Page Six. And Monica very much wanted to be a part of the scene in Salt Lake City. It's part of the reason she was working for Jen Shah. She wanted to be in that world.
Totally.
And I think that the audience does love an underdog story. As much as we like the aspirational side of things, we also like someone that we can kind of root for. And I think the audience was rooting for Monica up until the very end when we found out that she had the blog.
Honey, I was rooting for her even then.
Listen, she did bring a lot. I mean, it was a time.
Because for me, it was like, look, I've been producing reality for almost 20 years. I've seen it all. I mean, let's talk about Cops Without a Badge. You know what I mean? Like, let's talk about the book, right? I've seen it all, Zack. So the fact that the smoking gun was, she was a part of a blog. I'm like, is that it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, she wasn't, committing murder or like, stealing people's money, embezzlement, like none of that stuff. She had a blog and she talks shit about you guys. Who gives a fuck? Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Did she or did she not bring life into the show? This woman was on the entertainment cover of the Los Angeles Times. What are we doing here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree. Are you here for this Erica Jane redemption season? I feel like everyone's starting to finally root for her now. She doesn't have the money anymore. She doesn't have the husband. She's in therapy now. Do you think her time on Housewives will soon have an expiration date? Or do you think the show kind of needs her?
Well, look, I will say this. Even when Erica was going through that horrible situation of discovering what her husband was doing allegedly, I was one of the only few people, because I don't go for the popular opinion.
Same.
I go for like my natural opinion, right? I was one of the only few people who said, I don't think she knew.
Yeah.
I do not think she knew. Did she reap the benefits of it? Absolutely. Yes. Did she know what her husband was doing? I just don't think so.
No.
And I appreciated, again, minority in this situation. I appreciated every time Erica fought back and said, what about me?
Yeah.
I'm a victim too. Like, I didn't know. My life has changed. I'm like, she never said, I don't care about the victims. She always said, I get it, but I'm also hurting.
Yeah.
And I always understood what her point of view was. But once again, the world we live in now, you have to be a part of the popular opinion.
Yeah.
And now that we saw this redemption era, I'm like, Erica, you will always redeem to my eyes, bitch.
Yep.
I love you. I think you're a fabulous star. And I will say this, though. I want Erica to get her head back in the game. It took Denise Richards to poke Erica so that we can see, the spice that Erica has, and I live for it. But I did feel like, rightfully so, I feel like Erica said, "You bitches work." I've had 3 seasons of turmoil. Sutton and Garcelle, you guys do something.
Do something, right?
Right. So, but I'm glad she's back.
I just hope that we don't get Erica turning into like a Dorit, where the heat is you take it on so much to the point where you just get fatigued and you're like, I'm not going to ruffle feathers. I'm not going to do that. I'm like, Erica, let's never do Lent again. Okay. Just bring it.
I hate it when a reality star says, this season, I'm turning over a new leaf. I'm not getting involved in the drama. The old so-and-so would have done this, but see, I'm zen. Nobody wants to see that shit on television.
Nope.
Like, guys, it's not cute.
Nope, I agree. And listen, at this point, I want Erica to go and buy herself a new pair of earrings and to flaunt them for those ladies. I want her to take back. Well, I mean, the earrings have been sold out, but like, I'm here for Erica and her earrings.
Me too.
Let's get it. Atlanta, we have the reboot. We have Portia. She's going through it with Simon. Are you looking forward to it? Who do you want to see come back with Portia?
Kenya Moore.
Yes.
Give me more. Britney Spears said it best. Give me more. And baby, that Moore is Moore, honey. Last name Moore, first name Kenya, middle name Summer. I love Portia and Kenya's dynamic. It's very Tamra and Shannon. It's very Giselle and Karen. That's what I want to see. I want to see those two firecrackers break up, make up, break up. It's just their shtick.
Yeah.
They just it's unpredictable, but I'm so happy Portia is back. I'm sad that she's going through a divorce because I think all of us wanted to see, like this African princess love story with the private jets and this, the jet skis, the trips to Dubai. We were looking towards seeing that, but I'm so disappointed what's happening right now, but I love her. She has my support.
Yeah.
100%. And one thing I know about my girl Portia, she will bounce back, and who knows? Maybe she'll give us that on her own dime, and I can't wait to see that either.
Listen, I do love a good divorce story. I aspire to have that level of heartbreak in my life one day.
You do that?
Give me so I can go on a podcast and tell him I just divorced you. Get ready, TMZ's about to pick it up. I'm gonna go full Tori Spelling.
Get booked to be the host of Love Island USA.
There we go. Listen, Lala would have done a better job of that Love Island gig. I think we need Lala.
Absolutely. Can we talk about it? Yes. Team Lala.
Team Lala all the way. And listen, Lala still has 0 fucks left to give. She's sober and she's like, I don't even need a drink to get spicy. It's just in me.
She's such a badass. I want to see a show called Lala's Land.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just all about Lala in the valley doing her thing. Because I'm sure she got some rocking girls who fit like, that like sexy, badass. And she's such a force multiplier and a leader. Like, I just love her.
And such a voice. I know you said you've fallen off on Vanderpump this season, but like she's such a good voice of reason. She's saying it like the things that we need to say. She's like, why is Ariana still living with Tom? She can afford an apartment. She's not forfeiting the house legally. She can afford to get out of that house. Yeah,
no, I saw the scene where I think like was her and Ariana leaving like a coffee shop, and she's telling her like, bitch, these people are coming for Sheena, and your ass ain't even like saying, hey guys, calm down. Leave her alone. You're not saying anything, which
Yeah.
means you kind of agree. You want the attention. The sympathy card shit is over. Expiration date, please.
Yeah.
I'm like, thank you.
She's like, Sheena literally got a TRO, a restraining order put on against her defending you, and you can't even put out a tweet?
Sad. I'm over Ariana's storyline. I'm bored.
You know,
we need to move on from it.
I feel like Ariana's been over her storyline for the past several seasons. I like Ariana as a person, but you can just tell she does not care about doing this show.
No, and it shows. She doesn't care. She wants to play Roxy.
Yeah. And now she can host Love Island. She can sail off into the sunset. Do you think we should bring back, who else did we have this past season? Marlo, Drew, Sheree on Atlanta. Do you think, who are we cutting, or bring back Sheree?
You need an OG, and I love Sheree, so I would say Sheree for sure. And Drew has a lot of story to tell, so yeah.
Well, I think what made OC really good, and I think what's going to make this new season of OC good, is that the relationships are real. You have Tamra, you have Heather, you have Vicky made a couple of appearances, you had Shannon in there. Like, these women have history. They've been through it together. And now bringing the Alexis Bellino into it, it's like the history is all there. Now she's dating John Jansen, and John Jansen wants Shannon Bedore to, pay her back for the loaner face that he'd helped buy for her $75,000 facelift that he's suing her for. The mess. I love it.
It's all so messy. Oh my goodness.
It is. And I am looking forward to all of it, as I know you are. Carlos, the podcast is Reality with the King. He's just about to kick off the next few cities on his tour. He's got Teddy Mellencamp. He's got Teresa Giudice. He's got Tamar Braxton, DC, Irvine, Jersey City, Atlanta. Carlos, again, where can people go and show you some love and support?
Yeah, so follow me all on social media, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at @TheCarlosKing_. And to buy tickets to see me and Teresa, or me and Teddy, me and Tamar Braxton, or the ladies of Love and Marriage DC, go to kingdomreign.com. That's Kingdom, REIGNENT.com.
I mean, you have a production company, you have a podcast, you're going on tour. What's next? OnlyFans?
Well, if I had Tom Sandoval's body, I would consider it. So I need give me 6 more months at Equinox, Zach, and we'll see.
Don't come for me when you're on OnlyFans for $7.
Oh, Erica! Who makes more, you or your daughter? I mean, a read, honey. Yes.
Erica knows when to bring it. Thank you guys for listening to No Filter with Zack Peter. Please go and check Carlos King out. Listen to Reality with the King. He is the king of reality TV, so go show Carlos King some love. You can follow me at Just Plain Zack all over the internet. Follow the podcast at No Filter with Zack. Carlos, again, what's your social handle that people can follow you at?
Yes, at @TheCarlosKing_.
@TheCarlosKing_. Period. No period in his handle, but period in life. All right. Thanks, guys, for listening. I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.